Oh man,
They're good too. Yeah, they're really good. That's what's funny is. Well, shit, fellas. Fuck, man.
What's up? What's up?
Saturday night, guys. Saturday night. How's everybody doing?
Doing pretty good.
Okay. Yeah, we slacked off a little bit last week.
Yeah,
We had to take a break.
we didn't do what we wanted to do last
But it was all
week.
good.
Still fun.
You know, our road trip podcast audio just was not there.
Yeah.
It just ended up not coming out the way we wanted. However, I tell you what, visually, if that were a podcast, that'd be the best one we ever put out. You know what I mean? It was a great looking show, right?
You know, I think we're gonna have to try it one more time.
Yeah.
Not too soon, but
Yeah, you know,
still cool.
we'll just have to work on the audible levels, right? But yeah, man, that was a nice little break weekend, and here we are back to this week. Fucking, we're still in the middle of that goddamn coronavirus bullshit.
Yeah, but you know what? We haven't heard anything recently because of all these fucking protests.
Yeah, and that's what I was gonna say, man. So what?
Yeah. George Floyd, baby.
Watching the fucking burn baby burn right now. You know what I mean?
Fuck that shit, dude. These people need to go home, man.
Yeah. So what the fuck, guys? What do you guys feel about this shit? Like, honestly.
All right. So I've been putting a lot of thought into it. Actually, I stayed up last night watching a lot of videos of stupid people doing a lot of stupid things. You know, I feel sorry for Floyd, you know, and Floyd's family, you know.
Yeah.
Obviously, I feel that it's a wrong thing. It was a bad cop, did something horrible to somebody who didn't deserve it, you know. However, going out there and smashing windows, I don't see the correlation. I don't see how that helps anything out.
Killing other people, setting buildings on fire, that's not justice.
No.
Giving the government a reason not to give us that second stimulus? Come on, man.
Well, and then if they do, right? I mean, think about it, right? We pay taxes for a reason. I mean, so when you see stuff like this, especially people, what's one of the biggest expenses that people bitch about is insurance.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Right? We got to pay X amount of money in insurance. What I don't get is, like you were saying, these people that they're fucking looting.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, I understand you can be upset. And, you know, you sit on social media and you see the same fucking memes. You see the same fucking things. Like, it's this side or that side. You know, you can't say just in general, this all pisses me off.
Mm-hmm.
And all of it pisses me off.
Right.
You know, he should not have been killed.
Right.
You know, there's no reason for that to happen the way it happened. And I mean, I'm sure we'll get into this even more, but that reinforces the idea that we've all talked about before. Like, police officers, they should be trained in jiu-jitsu.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because that's a perfect scenario right there. Like, how many fucking cops, and how many cops do we train with?
A few.
Quite a few.
Right.
And every time I've trained with them, I've never felt like they're a reckless sort of person.
Right.
You know what I mean? And even just from hanging out with them outside of us training, if we have an event for DeBoa and we hang out with these guys, you know, a lot of these guys that we train with that are police officers, and all the ones that aren't even, they're good people.
They're good people.
You know what I mean? It's tough. Like, it really hurts to sit here and see this shit going on. I've got family members that are police officers.
Yep,
You guys
so do
have
we.
family
Yep.
members that are police officers. Like, and it's weird. I mean, we've talked about it our past. You know, I grew up bumping NWA. I grew up fucking, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I grew up with that whole, like, oh, cops can be bad attitude. But you know what? I'm not a fucking kid anymore.
Right.
You know, how old are we now? And, like, I look at it like a lot of those police officers, they're doing their job. Now, inexcusable when you see all those cops standing around and the way that shit went down. But, I mean, to touch on it, as a whole, what the fuck are we looting for? What the fuck are these people like doing that shit?
There's no justice in that.
No.
I mean,
You know,
I've thought about it, quite a bit, and there is no justice. Not even 1% is justifiable to loot.
it's all a numbers game too. You know what I mean? Like they like to focus on these bad incidents, but if you take all the numbers of all the cops that do all the good on a daily basis, how much does that outweigh these few and far in between incidences? You know what I mean? And also at the same time, cops naturally their jobs are high adrenaline jobs. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? They always have to be on their toes because they never know what's going to happen. So you can't judge them based off of that because they have to be at a heightened sense all the time.
Yeah.
You never know. It could be a normal traffic stop, and there could be somebody on behind the wheel with a gun waiting to blast them away. You know what I mean?
Right.
That happens all the time too.
Yeah, you
Well,
put
yeah.
you put them in those situations constantly on a daily basis, and you can't not expect them to be on heightened alert all the time. You know?
Yeah, the majority of their interactions, you got to think just like you were saying on the day-to-day basis, man. A traffic stop, a routine traffic stop could literally be that police officer's last breath.
Right.
That's
You know what I mean?
It's tough.
Just going and patrolling. There's a difference, between being out here and being in South Central Phoenix.
Mhm.
For sure, there's a big difference there, depending on the area. But like you guys were saying, I mean, being a police officer, it's a heightened sense of kind of awareness the whole time you're on the
Right.
job. You don't really get a break.
You don't, and because your life is on the line.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then on top of that, you're charged with the duty of protecting other people's lives too. So sometimes you might be put in a situation where you have to do things that overall benefits the majority of the people, but you might end up hurting other people as a result of that. You know what I mean? You have to be the ones, or they have to be the ones that make that judgment call. And so obviously, if you get enough people together of any profession, you're going to have your bad apples.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I relate being a cop to something like a teacher, on a scale of importance. I remember going to, when I was in law school, we went to this middle school, and I was giving a little speech about law and, how the law applies to the kids and stuff. And I got to see 3 or 4 different teachers. I went to 3 or 4 different classrooms. And the one thing I noticed was that every single one of those teachers looked run down. Like the kids were all over the place, and they were on their last, they looked like they were short fused. Like they could blow up any minute, you know what I mean? And I can equate that to cops, because cops, they're in the public every day, and they're interacting with the public every day. And it's not all actually the majority of the time, I think we can agree is that it's on a shitty situation. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they're not responding to calls because people are giving out hugs.
Right.
I
Exactly.
mean, it doesn't happen like that.
And so dealing with that day in and day out every day, and I'm not excusing any of the cops who turn bad. I'm just saying, just if you can look internally and think about yourself, and if you had to deal with shitty situations day in and day out, how would you project yourself? You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I think it's I think it's fucked up. I think it's really fucked up that, first of all, that this police officer did that. You know what I mean?
Right.
That is
Right.
incredibly fucked up no matter what. There's no reason that he should have died. There's no reason that he should have been sitting there for 9 minutes with a knee in his neck, whatever. There's definitely things that cop could have done, the cops around him could have done. But hell, I mean, what's the situation? Why did it get down to that point? And these aren't things I'm necessarily saying about this exact scenario, but in general, cops, anytime that they're getting response calls to somewhere, 90% of the time it's very high stress, high pressure. You don't know what the fuck's going on. And then you add in crowds.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And some cops, you don't necessarily have to do anything without the situation getting escalated just because somebody's there with a camera or there's 10 people there around and they all have something to say about the situation, you know? Man, I don't know. It's just the whole thing's fucked up, you know? Is man, I want to say like, you know, that cop, fuck that cop, man. Fuck that idea that he knew what he was doing because obviously he didn't.
Yeah,
You
yeah, no
know?
clue.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a really poor judgment call because I can totally see the other side of things where you he probably arrested enough people in the past and everybody crying about, oh, my hand hurts from just having handcuffs on and stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it look, no matter what profession you're in, if you don't like what you're doing anymore, get the fuck out.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
That's it, man.
He had no business carrying a badge anymore. He was probably well beyond the point of wanting to be a cop anymore. And he was probably working one just to get a paycheck and probably had some kind of vendetta in the back of his mind all the time.
Well, and I think that like I saw something. I think that was saying that he had
Oh,
multiple
of course.
multiple
Yeah, incidences,
complaints
right.
on him already previously, and so then you start thinking it's like, well, how the fuck is that cop allowed to be doing that sort of specific job with those
Well, I
complaints
think
on
they
him?
kind of protect each other too, in a way.
Yeah.
So
Oh yeah, and no,
Yeah.
for sure. I mean, I definitely, I don't want to really get into it right at this moment, but same thing like saying having police officers in my family, I have had family members that have been in a shooting, involved with a civilian and a police officer, and it was not good. But other than that, it's just crazy to think like as much as I want to say fuck that cop, I still like what the fuck are people thinking to sit here and say there's no justifiable reason, in my opinion, to start doing the retaliation by looting and by
Yeah,
breaking
it makes
shit.
no sense. One thing does not correct the other.
No.
They're probably the same fucking idiots that went out there and bought all the toilet paper.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, and here's what gets me too is like I saw some posts and some people, saying stuff about and posting the memes about, well, we tried to peacefully protest, or Kaepernick took the knee for this, and and now that wasn't good enough for you, verbatim, but along those
Right.
lines.
Yeah, I think I saw the same thing you saw.
Same kind of stuff, and it's like or it shows like don't protest like this or like this or like this, and it shows what happened the other day, and then it shows Kaepernick taking a knee or LeBron wearing the "I Can't Breathe" shirt, whatever the fuck it might be. And I understand the need and the realization for the awareness there. However, the thing that blows my mind about it is like to sit there and justifiably say, well, you didn't listen when we peacefully protested, so now we're going to do this. That escalates it or magnifies it. You're now putting it on the same level. I mean, now death is not the same as a building being burned down, However, the people that own that building or that own that business, maybe now their lives are over. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, correct.
Maybe now they're not going to get insurance because somebody burned it during a riot. So what are they going to do?
What's clear to me is protesting in the form of demonstrations and protesting in the form of looting. None of that shit works.
No.
If you want, look, here's the truth. We live in a capitalistic nation. If you want to cripple somebody, just fucking stop supporting that shit. Look, if you stop buying shit, look, what happened during coronavirus when it was locked down? We fucking crippled the economy because nobody was out buying shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's how you hurt a motherfucker in this nation. Stop supporting them if you want to hurt them, but don't go fucking breaking shit and burning shit down. That's just fucking stupid, man.
Yeah, I failed to see the tangible correlation between your building
Right.
that's just right there where I'm looting and saying, "Oh, I'm gonna burn that down because my friend got killed or somebody I
Right.
know got
It's
killed."
probably not even a friend, man. It's
Yeah.
just somebody out there wanting to cause trouble.
And that's the majority of it. And then I saw, and so now even from this other aspect of like, I don't know if you guys saw the videos of the guy all dressed in black with the umbrella that was
I saw
smashing
that
out
one. They
windows.
said it was a cop.
Yeah, and they're like, it's a white cop, then he's smashing out the windows to
Oh,
start
yeah.
the riot.
Yeah.
I did see that.
Okay,
I
look,
don't know if that's a cop. I don't
if
know
this
how to
guy
know.
is, if he is or if he isn't, that does not matter in my opinion.
Yeah,
My opinion is they're saying that's what started the riots, the quote unquote riots and the looting. Who are the fucking people that decided that it goes from where he's smashing a window to let's burn down the whole fucking building?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, you can sit there and try to point and say, like, oh, that guy was a cop and he started all of it. No, he didn't start all of it. Maybe he smashed a window, but people take that and they run with the fucking ball.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
It was just a bunch of idiots who are on the verge of wanting just to create mass chaos.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Most of those people, I feel, my personal opinion is that the people out there fucking shit up just wanted to fuck shit up.
Yeah.
They weren't passionate about anybody dying.
no.
They just wanted to destroy things.
And then you look at, like, you see some of these fuck sticks on Facebook and other shits, like, I'm trying to read some of these articles and then I go into the comments and it's the same thing, man. It's like the guy's like, well, oh, you wouldn't listen when we tried to just say it. So, now I'm of course, let somebody take this TV. That doesn't equate to the amount of deaths that we've seen. How do they even fucking equate? Period.
Right, man.
You know what I
That makes
mean?
no
Like,
sense. I'm gonna go take a TV from like Walmart or Target so that you guys can charge that guy for murder.
is that motherfucker, when he gets that
I have no
fucking
idea.
new 70-inch at home and he hangs it up on his wall, he better be putting a fucking in memoriam
Yeah.
on that TV. You know what I mean? Other than that, it does not make sense.
Right.
Mhm.
That's like saying, oh, I said it in English and you guys weren't listening, so I said it in Spanish and you guys still didn't listen. It's your fucking message that isn't working, man.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I just don't get it, And then I was even, dude, there's just so much you could just go on and on and
Yeah.
on about this shit.
Yeah.
Like, for me, especially being like white, like I kind of have this weird feeling about all of it. Like, the guy was a white cop. It was a black guy that got killed. And I do not support that one bit. But I also don't support the idea that people need to burn shit down
Right.
in the name of or because of, in retaliation of, because I know from where I'm at in a logical, normal world, if either one of you guys that we're sitting here right now, if you were to take my car, and my car's gone, well, that fucking sucks. But now if I go to your house and I break into your house and I steal some shit, or I like burn down your car in retaliation and I say to you, well, that's because you did it to me, I'm going to jail. You know what I mean?
You're going to jail, but even in your scenario there, at least it makes sense because
makes
you're
sense.
targeting the person
Yeah.
directly that
Right.
hurt you. In this case, it has no correlation. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? What does Target have to do with Lloyd?
Yeah,
You know
or
what I
a
mean?
Chick-fil-A. I saw like they fucked up a Chick-fil-A,
Damn,
right?
man, a lot of people be hungry now.
Yeah, so now it's like, what? Not only are you going after the police officers, but now you're going against Chick-fil-A because they're the anti-gays or whatever. Like, where's the correlation
Right.
to all of it?
Right.
Just that's all I want to know.
Like, I would have respect for these people if they attacked whoever attacked them. You know?
Right.
An eye for an eye, okay. That might not be
Makes
lawful, but
Yeah.
at least you're targeting the person
Makes
who
sense.
targeted you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That makes sense to me. But man, just to go out there, to go ballistic, to take away the livelihoods of people, hardworking people, all these stores that got smashed into and just looted and destroyed. You know what I mean? These people, they don't have the kind of money that Target does. You know?
Yeah.
What are they going to live off of? And they're the same people that live in your own community. You know what I mean?
And then I saw, same thing, the argument against that as well. Those items can be replaced. Oh, you know that.
Well, during this protest, they killed people too. People has died during this protest. That should be enough then? If it's an eye for an eye, I think like 2, 3 people died already.
Yeah. So right there, like, I just don't.
Stop.
It fucking blows my mind, man. It blows my mind that, like, and B, you even said it, like, it blows my mind that this happens. And so now all of a sudden, the same fucking people that were yelling at everybody about wearing a mask and saying that we need to be socially distancing and we need to keep this going because the good of the people, a lot of those same fucking people are out here smashing windows or setting shit on fire. And now you're seeing mass groups of people that a chaotic situation or this riot has overtaken the idea of, hey man, we need to like take a step back and let everything calm down until until this all blows over. I don't get it.
Yeah.
And from my end, like, I think the further and further it goes, social media is really like one of the biggest catalysts in all this shit.
It is.
I mean, it is like you look at the way it is now, and we don't all sit around and we don't all watch the same news channel at the same time, or we don't all sit to watch the same show at Wednesday night at 8:30 because that's the only time it comes on anymore, and that's just on TV. But I mean, even with social media, same thing. We don't watch the news to get our information. I don't. I haven't watched a 10 o'clock news show and I don't know how fucking long. And if it's on, I turn that shit off. You know what I mean?
I only watched it last night because they had helicopter cam with the writing and shit.
A few times you see something on there, you're like, oh wow, look at that.
Right.
But you think, I mean, the majority of our news, depending on the person, it comes from what? Social media. It comes from whatever research you're doing.
Right.
And and I'll even rail against the left side in this situation. Like, you turn on the nightly news or you turn on the nightly talk shows, it's the same fucking jokes about the same fucking thing.
Right.
Everybody's railing against the president or fuck Trump this or Trump did this wrong. And then you go to another station and it's the exact opposite but the same.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's the fucking left side is doing this. They don't know what the fuck they're talking about. And that's just off the news.
Yep.
So now you add in the social media aspect. And I mean, that's the worst kind of brain candy there is.
Yeah. I mean, what's more dangerous, right? You have these two super camps that push the media and you get one story or you get the exact opposite side of that story. Or you go on to La La Land and you can find hundreds and thousands of people who support your very same view and just as many who support a different view, or the opposite view.
Yeah. And now, you get into even like Twitter, this whole shit. The other day they fact checked Trump and then he signs that executive order the next day, which is honestly just political theater.
Right.
That executive order he signed does not do shit, but it brings up or it brings forth this issue. You know what I mean? And anyways, behind that, the whole thing is, you look at this shit and Twitter's fact checks Trump. Trump gets pissed off. However, on the other side, Twitter has also kicked people off for dead naming or, for saying, I don't know, there's a guy named Zuby. I don't know if you know who that guy is. Zuby, he's like a British or UK kind of like actor, model, or whatever he is. He has his own brand type of thing. But he was on Twitter and he got kicked off of Twitter because he made some comment and somebody responded to him about how I probably slept with more chicks than you. And all he responded back was, he said, okay, dude.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, dude.
Okay.
And he got fucking kicked off of Twitter for that,
Yeah, I never understood the appeal of Twitter anyways.
No, yeah, and I don't use Twitter. I don't
use it. I don't know why people are so hung up on it. I don't know why everybody's sucking Twitter dick.
Yeah, no.
Fuck that. Fuck Twitter.
Yeah, fuck Twitter. Fuck Facebook too, though.
Yeah.
Fuck all of them.
Wash shit down, man.
I mean,
except for YouTube, we love you, YouTube.
Yeah, YouTube, you're the best. You're the greatest. One of these days, maybe we'll be saying Spotify is
Yeah.
even better. You know?
Until we make it onto Spotify, YouTube, you're okay in our
YouTube,
book.
you're number one. But no, I mean, but seriously, like, it's just, it's fucking crazy to see where it's gone. You
It
know?
reminds me of the Ronnie King guy,
Right.
that whole thing. So I think people are upset because when you got those cops got acquitted, people
Mhm.
rioted, and then these cops just got fired, and so it's like, well, is that enough?
Yep.
I don't know.
Even if it's not enough, there are 2 to 3 deaths because of this riot
Yeah.
protest thing.
What
That
is
should be
enough, though?
Yeah.
What is
That should be
enough?
Stop.
I don't know.
Yeah, when do you feel like, where do you stop and when do you say, okay, like, we've done X amount of damage, which is now equivalent to the death of somebody? It don't fucking make sense,
They
you know?
killed a cop up there in Oakland. And I think someone died in Detroit or something.
Yeah.
Man, it's...
Yeah.
They had protests here in Phoenix. You know what I mean?
And it was mixed. We have double protests.
I mean,
here.
downtown
Yeah,
Phoenix,
we have
they're...
double protests.
Yeah.
The one on Monday, right?
I mean, I just... dude, what?
Look, okay, you're angry to the point where you want to go out there and you feel like you have to destroy things. What is your fucking answer? You know what I mean? Like, you're out there, you look like a fucking idiot, stubborn kid throwing a tantrum. Like, oh, you don't get your way, you don't get what you want, something didn't turn out the way you want. What is it that you want, and what is your answer to it? You know what I mean? Like, is destruction the answer? Obviously not. It's not doing anything. But what would you like changed? How would you like it changed? And how would you implement a plan to make that change happen?
Well, and this... Well, here we go. Let's have like dive in deep on this one. So, like, literally, we're gonna get into this. Like, where's the fucking reparations? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, slavery. I mean, they're asking. There's been a voice for reparations ever since slavery happened, and I get it. If there was any reason to have reparations, that would be one.
Mm-hmm.
However, nothing has happened. You know, and think about that. How do you really pay back land or percentage of income or property value to a family or to a group of people for somebody else that was 30 years, 50, 100 years, 100, 200 years, whatever it might be? Where do you equate that value out? You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's the same thing on this, like you were saying. Like, where's the value of these riots? Where do you say, okay, now we've equated the value? There is no equal fucking value.
You can't.
Yeah.
It's not like one for
Yeah.
one.
And the same, and even a touch, like I said, with reparations. If the government were to come around and say, you know what, you guys were right, everybody's right, we owe you guys money, where is the justifiable value that people would be happy?
Right.
You know what I mean? There is no such thing. The same as there's no such thing as anything being perfect. Perfection is in the imperfections.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Our government has been built up to this point to look at the shit that we've been dealing with over the last 4 years. That's not even going to be shit compared to this election.
Mm-hmm.
This election, oh my God, I'm fucking T.O., get your popcorn ready. You know what I mean? Because this shit is going to get in fucking sane.
Yeah. This is going to be a freaky one, man.
Yeah, but where do you start drawing the tangible lines to say that this is the same as that? You know?
You can't.
You
It's
cannot.
an impossibility.
Being human, enough is never enough.
Right.
Like the millionaires, they want to be billionaires. The billionaires, they want to own the world.
Right.
After they own the world, they're going to want everything else. So, I mean, enough is never enough as human beings. So
Money can't buy happiness.
It can't.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't care. We could all be sitting here with $1 million in the bank, and that would only get you so far. But then something in your head, you're going to say, you know what, though?
I want more.
I want, I just wish I got the money, but I just wish that I lived on the beach.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And so now you move to the beach, and then now you're sitting there and you're like, well, God, now I got the money, I got the beach, but man, my wife's, she's kind of old.
Right.
You know, like, I need an upgrade.
I was gonna say I need a boat,
Yeah, right.
but you went
Right.
there instead.
Right. And then a boat. You know what I mean? But
No,
my
boat brings-
yeah, you know what I mean? But the boat will bring the new wife. You know? But it's like it's that human nature.
Right.
No matter what, I mean, that's why they say like money can't buy everything, or that's, money can't buy happiness, or that's why you still have people that are millionaires that have drug and alcohol, or all these addiction or issues with whatever. It's just human. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's that same mentality. Like, just fucking know what you want.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, if you don't know what you want, then you're always gonna thirst for more. You're gonna thirst for something different. You know what I mean? That the truly happy people, the people who can honestly say that money does not make them happy, are the people who have come to terms with themselves.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, they don't need the extra. They know what they want, and if they achieve that, then that's when they become happy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But fucking you, like you guys were saying, man, like money's not gonna make you happy. Breaking windows is not gonna bring back the dead. You know what I mean? Like, know what the fuck you want, and if you're that passionate about it, then fucking make a plan and see if you can make it happen. You know?
Right. And also, man, this fucking this Facebook protesting bullshit. You know what I mean? You see, like I was noticing just being on Facebook, right? Like, I'm friends, 200 people, whatever the number is, it doesn't matter. I'm friends with 200 people, and those 200 people, I only see probably maybe 30 of them, majority that you see posts of. All the rest, maybe they don't post, they're not on, whatever. But in this cycle, most of those people that I'm friends with are friends with my friends as well. So you start to get into a cycle of, it's the same groups of people. Everybody's going to have their own outliers, and those creep into other groups, right? So you have this group over here is connected to me because my friend is friends with them, and I'm friends with you guys because of B, or whatever it might be. But on Facebook especially, or any social media, this whole new form of protesting on Facebook, or just sharing the same fucking memes, the same fucking messages, you're not doing anything. I see people that will literally post 10, 12, 14, 18 times a day.
Yeah.
And they're posting these messages that really, like, at the heart of the matter, yes, I get what you're saying, but it's lost in translation, or for me anyways, because I don't feel like I'm one of those fucking idiots that just sits and looks at the same cycle and just recycles it and regurgitates it. And then you guys see it and you're like, oh, well, Chris thought this, so it must be true, or I must think this too. You know what I mean? Like, so I see these groups, and a lot of these people I love to death, but I'm like, you want to bitch and complain every day, all day about these subjects. You're doing it on Facebook. How is that changing anything? All you're doing is contributing to the problem, whether you want to say you're not or you are. You want to get mad at me because I don't agree with you, maybe, and you can say I'm part of the problem. However, you're fucking on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
You're not out there. You're not peacefully protesting.
Right.
You're not like trying to write the letter to the senator. You're not trying to get your face out to other people or into an area where it's tangible. You're literally just repeating and regurgitating the same thoughts from the other X amount of people that you're all friends with, and then it's just kind of that same cycle. You know what I mean?
Yeah, same cycle, same message getting
Exactly.
passed around, right?
Exactly. And I mean, this is where, like, for me, anybody can fucking get it. Anybody on fucking Facebook can get it. I don't give a fuck. You know what I mean?
Right.
I've gone at family members. I've gone at close friends, the same as I've gone at the person that I don't fucking know, because I've seen it. Like, I've seen the people, they share facts, quote unquote.
Right.
That's bullshit. Yeah. But it's only not bullshit because so-and-so that they know posted it, or because it came from a place that they go and frequent. Who the fuck knows if that's even correct as it is? Exactly. You know what I mean? Like, I know from where I'm at and being a logical person, first of all, I didn't get to be as logical as I am right now without the fucking help of specific items, such as psychedelics and other things like that. But I will put the idea and the openness that I have up against anybody else in the sense of like I search out for the information.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You know
For
what I
sure.
You
mean?
have to.
Yeah, I don't, you could tell me the sky is blue and I could see that the sky is blue, but I still want to know why the sky is blue.
Right.
I
right,
don't
right.
want to just say, oh, well, they told me the sky is blue and that's the reason why. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like, and it just, you blow it up, dude. It is fucking insane now, you know?
Maybe that's the answer, man. Maybe for all those fuckers out there that are too lazy to go fact check, or like you also said, who do you believe anymore, right?
Yeah.
For all those motherfuckers out there who are either too lazy or don't know where to go to find good answers or good facts, just fucking go get high, man.
Right?
Just go get high. You'll feel better. You'll be calm. There'll be no more riots.
Little DMT, a little psilocybin, something, anything.
Something psychedelic
Yeah,
for sure,
just
man.
get your mind right.
Yeah.
And that, that's even on that, like something like psychedelics or something. I mean, perception is everything, right?
Yeah.
How many times has the perception been out there that like, oh, that's bad for you? You don't want to end up like that guy. You don't want to end up fried or burn out because that guy did this, that, or the other.
Drugs are bad.
You can't. Drugs are bad. Okay, like you can't determine the same as I don't know 2 + 2 = 4 until I've actually seen 2 + 2 = 4.
Right.
Until you show me 2 beans plus 2 beans, now I've got 4 beans. Oh, okay, that makes sense. Somebody tells me that something's bad for me, fuck you. Let me go find out myself.
Right. Right.
And I've come across several things that people say are bad that just isn't that bad.
Doesn't quite add up, does it?
It just isn't that bad, I mean,
it's actually, I think it will do a lot more good than, So if you do anything in excess, it's bad for you.
yeah.
You know what I mean? So when people think about ODing, especially off psychedelics, they'll think of like
LSD.
Sid
Yeah.
Barrett. Is that his name?
Sid Barrett?
Yeah, Sid
Yeah.
Barrett. He's
Yeah.
like the number one guy that people think about when, especially tied to psychedelics, right?
And the folklore behind it is that he ended up doing so much acid where he just sat in his mom's basement finger painting or
Something like that,
whatever it
right?
is. No, but he really did though. Like even the song when Pink Floyd did "Wish You Were Here,"
Mm-hmm.
that song is written about Sid Barrett because he had gone so far away that was kind of their way of saying like, "Hey, man, we miss you."
Yeah, and he was probably somebody who had the means to do it on a massive daily doses. You know what I mean? And to immerse him in a time where the restrictions weren't there, and you can just, go psychedelic every day for hours and hours, days, and that's probably what he ended up doing.
Yeah.
In excess, and so yeah, you can fry your brain, but I'm saying if you're gonna once every few months, every few years, if you feel like you're gonna go rage and break some windows, pop a couple caps, man.
I've always been a big proponent of stuff like that. You know what I mean? And same thing, like you were saying, in excess, right? Well, anything is bad in excess. The same thing. An alcoholic. They've definitely reached a limit. And
you can drink too much water and die.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Exactly. You can overeat. You see people with eating disorders.
Right.
You see people with, the weirdest shit. Look at all the weird fucking fetishes that are out there that people do, and I'd like to think, like, just like you were saying, I don't see a problem with trying something or opening your eyes a little bit to what's more around you.
Yeah, and with even with all good things, it's not for everybody.
No, absolutely not.
So those of you who don't enjoy it or it has an adverse effect on you, then don't do it. You know what I mean? But I think that for the overall good, for the majority of people, calm the fuck down, pop a mushroom,
If they legalize marijuana, Nobody
Yeah.
protesting right now.
Smoke a
Right.
joint.
Well, and dude, even that. Think about that,
Right.
right? Just that one statement right there.
Yeah.
Legalize marijuana. Look at this. So during all this shit, right? Fucking what was considered essential? The fucking weed shops. The weed shops were considered essential, yet it's federally still an issue.
Right.
However, they said it's okay enough for them to still be open for the places, that you can go and get it. I definitely enjoyed the fact that my shop was open. But my point is, it's just funny. I mean, double standards or however you want to look at it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. How do you justify really when it comes down to that? You know what I mean?
Well, LSD in itself was actually, I mean, I guess depending on what story you read or what you look up, but LSD itself was initially looked at as something that could be used for military purposes or for purposes outside of just tripping balls. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they're still looking at microdosing for treatment for PTSD and
Well, and
things
even
of that.
now we say even like the mushrooms. Look at Colorado. They've decriminalized it. I think California was talking about it. I don't know if they've done it or not, but you start looking around and it's these things. I mean, even like ecstasy, right? MDMA. The whole reason it was even brought forth or produced in the first place was to treat depression.
Yeah, until the fucking Chinese started lacing that shit with fentanyl, man.
Yeah.
Fuck you bastards.
Yeah, man, fentanyl really destroyed everything, dude. Powders are no more. I mean, they're there, but no, thank you.
Huh.
I don't even want to go that route anymore. And that's something scary to think about too, though. Like, I remember back, when we were teenagers. For me, like, pop a couple pills, but literally just a couple pills, and
Right.
it wasn't like. I don't see it as like dangerous, or definitely not as dangerous as it is now. I mean, you have a Xanax or you take a couple muscle relax, Klonopin. I mean, you go down the list of them. You know what I mean? Eat them, you try them, whatever. If you've had fun, you've tried them.
Yeah, I that's a really slippery slope, because there are things out there that aren't meant to be recreational or not, taken. But then on the other side of that, all the pharmaceuticals that we have that are legalized that destroy our bodies.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? What's up with that? That's a double standard in itself too.
Yeah. How do we defeat a dependency by putting somebody else or that same person on another chemical dependency?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Something to mask one thing but create 5 more issues. That's bullshit, man.
And even this thing, you see like what is it, Seattle, Washington State, and I guess some other places too, where they do like the methadone or like the heroin clinics, for the junkies.
Yeah.
Or
I don't know if they have it.
well,
everywhere,
not the necessarily methadone clinic, but now it's like some places they have where they can go get their fix.
Okay.
And it's like in a regulated area.
Right. So that they're not sharing needles.
They
and
administer
stuff like
it,
that,
they give it to you, and then you go off and enjoy the rest of your day. That's tough, man. I mean, like, I get what you're doing there, but at the same time, think about all that extra money you're just putting or spending to go help a junkie.
Right.
Or to go help somebody that's beyond the point of wanting help.
Correct.
We talked about even with like the homeless factors, I mean, how many of those people are there because they want to be there, or once they got there, they're fine with it? And how many people got there because like they had that one life-altering situation?
Right. Somebody fucking kicked in their business.
Yeah,
burnt it down.
exactly. Somebody, fucking group of people rioted because they were unhappy.
Yeah.
So they burned down my business, and insurance didn't cover it, and I had spent all my money, buying into this franchise.
Yeah.
And similar to what I had talked about before, even with the quarantine shit, you can get mad at say like McDonald's. You can get mad and be like, well, they should be fucking paying people more. They should do this, they should do that. But what you don't think about, you look at the brand name, but you don't see the individual that saved up for years to spend $300,000 to
Yeah.
get into that franchise.
Or assume that loan.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, to take on that
Take on that
financial
risk.
debt
Yeah.
that they're putting their shit aside. They're putting their life aside, their livelihood aside. Maybe they quit a job. Maybe they're selling a house.
Right.
Maybe they're telling their wife, look, I just, we're selling this house right now for me to do this, but I swear to you it'll work out. And then the shit goes under because it gets burned down or because this, that, or the other
Yeah.
happens. And people, all they can do is say, well, he deserved it.
Yeah. Or the government tells you to close down.
Yeah, exactly.
2 months.
Well, you're part of, you were in a franchise. You're fine.
You're non-essential, motherfucker.
Right. There's so many individuals that take the brunt of that shit.
Yeah.
No matter from what angle, and it's just like that same thing. It's crazy. I was just talking to my neighbor yesterday, actually, and he was telling me a guy that he knows that is younger than us, a guy that's 35. Man, he quit his job because he went to get his pilot's license, right? So he quit his job. Him and his wife, they sold their house. They moved back in with his parents, and they did all this with the money from the selling the house. That's what he was using to pay for all of his training. So flash forward, this is however long ago, flash forward to now, quarantine happens. So he's out of town, he's in another state doing training, and they shut it down. So now he's got to come back home. Now he's back with his family at his parents' house. He can't finish his training. He has no job now. They sold their house, and all this just gets put on the back burner.
Wow.
And it's just kind of like a wait and see thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And and that's just one individual that I don't even know. I'll never probably meet, but just just expand that out and think about millions of people.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then we got people out there that want to fucking, use another very unfortunate situation as a reason to ruin other people's lives.
Still doesn't make no sense, man. I'm going to be scratching my head until I'm bald.
And and again, especially for me, this, and one of the reasons why I really love this podcast, or for us, is because we have different points of views. We have different ideas, different ethnicities.
Right.
We have a whole group that's a collection, and we're all, I consider all you guys like my brothers. We're all family
for sure,
in this
man.
whole thing. And, so for me, there's so many frustrations. I get the idea of white privilege. I understand that idea. And it definitely does play a part in a lot of things. But again, and I've said this before, I don't wake up every day thinking to myself, thank God I'm afforded this privilege. I literally look at it, every day I'm still trying to go out and do what I can for my family,
Mm-hmm.
or what we can, to get here to do this podcast. I don't sit here and see how I can cash in on my whiteness. You know what I mean? I don't think that way. And there's definitely people out there that do. And unfortunately, there's also people that no matter on the other side, whatever it is, they're always not going to be able to look past just the skin color or whatever it might
Right.
be. And again,
so you don't wake up every morning thinking, damn, how am I going to take advantage of my whiteness?
yeah, I just don't do it.
Today!
I know, right? Let's see, today, who can I fuck over? Yeah, again, man.
You know what? Everybody, doesn't matter who you are. If you have some kind of advantage that you can take, some kind of advantage that can help you achieve something, everybody takes advantage of that. You know what I mean? Why wouldn't you take the help if you have it in front of you? So that breeds the hate from the other side, the people who don't have that advantage. But look, life isn't fair, man. You know what I mean? What kind of perfect world do you live in? I'm not going to deny that what they're saying, there's no truth to what they're saying. You know what I mean? There's truth to every single one of these. That's why there's so much emotions that are tied to everything. But it's not the whole truth. It's only one side of it. You know what I mean? for the most part, if you can look past that shit, like we were saying a while back, I don't remember what episode, but stop thinking things in terms of color and there won't be the color anymore. You know what I mean? Like I read this awesome meme today. I don't know who posted it, but it says something, and I'm paraphrasing, but you see a white cop kill a black guy, or an innocent black guy. I see a bad cop kill an innocent person. You know what I mean? And that's a big difference.
Yeah.
There. Just try to frame everything in that perspective, which I try to do mostly. Like I don't really pay attention to colors anymore. Actually, I pay more attention to when people focus on colors than I do on actual colors.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, and that's the truth, man. I mean, nowadays it's almost like you have to almost play the part. You know what I mean? Like you have to show that extra little bit of like, oh, I do care.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like that, a lot of times that comes off even less genuine.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't even know. I don't even think we brought it up or talked about it. But even like the NFL, they squashed it. But there was that proposal for like, if you hire a black GM or if you hire a black coach, you can jump up in the draft order. You could potentially move up from a 4th to a 3rd round pick, or a low 3rd round pick can now move up to a high or to a low 2nd round pick.
Not just back, but person of minority.
Right. Yeah. If you hire, if you hire a minority coach or a minority, GM, whatever it might be, and does that like solve the problem?
No.
I mean, does that really solve the problem?
Being a minority myself, I say fuck that shit, dude. Fuck all that. Fuck affirmative action. I really do believe that we are at the point in time that people will do what's in the best interest of their company. You know what I mean? Like, if I had a company, I would hire the most qualified person.
Right.
The person who could do the job the best. Because to me, if I owned a business, it's the bottom line that matters, not the color of your skin. And I think that because of all the things that have happened in the past, we are to that point. Like, I don't think that there's one single Fortune 500 company out there saying that we're weeding out all the black people, we're weeding out all the Asians and Mexicans. We only want the white people to progress. Fuck that. And then their investors turn around and say, what the fuck happened to our profits? Get whoever you need to get in there so that our numbers go up, and then they do what they need to do. You know what I mean?
Right.
You can't just hire a person based on their skin, whether they're qualified or not, just to improve your diversity inside your company.
Yeah.
That makes no sense.
Yeah, and that therein lies the problem, right? Of affirmative action versus efficiency on the job, or, versus productivity or whatever else. Like, again, luckily in my situation, I don't own a fucking Fortune 500 company. I don't have to deal with like all this extra bullshit, but I know where I grew up. I know the people I grew up around.
Right.
I know at a very young age, my mother even taught me, like, it doesn't matter what color your skin is. I mean, my best friends' kids growing up were black, none of that matters. And same thing, I can say that, and it sounds good for me to say that, but who's that? That's not proving anything to anybody. It's just the way it is, and I know how I feel about it. I know what I can say about it, and a lot of this is just, man. I mean, I don't even know. Like, I don't know how to react. Not of being a white person, but just in general, just the idea of watching people, get beat up or get killed for no reason, and then the first and the easiest thing to say is, well, that guy must have been racist.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't know if that's the situation, but the scenario plays out so many times over a grand scheme of time period that it doesn't look good, and it only looks like anything that happens after that, especially now in today's society, it gets blown up so big. It's just under a microscope. I don't know, man.
Yeah, I think that maybe at some point in time, the race card was a trump card, and it probably helped out a lot of people. But to the point where people just automatically thought that if you pulled out the race card, it would be their trump card. You know what I mean? I worked for a Fortune 100 company, and I was involved in the hiring process, me being the person doing the hiring. And honestly, when it comes down to it, the whole panel of people that were in charge of the hiring that I was part of, it wasn't about your race. It wasn't about your color. You got through because of your credentials, right? And that gets the all the thousands of resumes get rejected out, and the few that get collected. So as far as qualifications, everybody who came to the door is qualified to do the job. Basically, ultimately, what we want to know is, can we work with you? Like, are you the type of person that we can come in and day out and work with? You know what I mean? Regardless of what color you are, regardless of what sex you are, it didn't matter. All that mattered to me was, hey, am I going to be able to work with you every day for the next 5 years? Yeah. And if not, then maybe the next guy or the next lady will. We've hired men, women, black, Mexican, white, whatever. It doesn't matter. You know what I mean? And on top of that, our system was not infallible. We were a bunch of goofballs ourselves. You know what I mean? And that's how we knew we got along. So what worked for us might not work for another department. Definitely will not work for a department that didn't have the same dynamics as us. So you can't even frame things as like corporate America doesn't like black people, or corporate America doesn't like minorities. That's just not the case. Corporate America is not an entity. It's not a single entity. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's made out of people who are not perfect, and you multiply that around. Basically what it comes down to is people just want to work with people that they can hang out with. Right. You know what I mean?
Well, and even just like you're saying, to touch on that corporate America idea, if it can't be both ways, right?
Right.
So you can't have it like you said, where you say, oh, well, they're just hiring the Indians just because they're so smart and they're taking much, or they're just hiring Asians to do the computer work because they're so much smarter. Like it doesn't go both ways.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? There's jobs, there's sectors that it doesn't matter. What matters is how smart you are. Right. What matters is how good of a job you do. And that's how it should be across the board, you know? And I'm not saying that's how it is across the board, because I'm not in every boardroom. I'm not in every fucking hiring office, and I don't know. And I don't want to say that everybody's perfect, because we're not.
No, you're not. You know? And that's the bottom line, is that we are not perfect.
No, nobody.
You are not perfect. The person sitting across from you is not perfect. So why are you expecting a perfect system?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like I said, like the perfection is in the imperfection.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's across the board. Like what makes you what you are to your family, that is what it is. Yeah. What makes me what I am to my family, or Twee to yours, or Lay to yours, like that's all those things. It does not matter, the color of my skin, or it doesn't matter. Like the things that really matter is, do I show up on the day-to-day basis? What do I do on that impressionable level to those people that I impact every day? That more so matters than the passerby that just happens to see you at that one moment in time, and they pick up the judgment, or you know what I mean? Like whatever it might be, but I mean, God, man, dude, I feel like shit's going to hell in a handbasket real fucking quick lately. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Like real quick. And I don't even know, like, I don't know where the insight is, especially now. It's like, you look for one thing, right? So everybody was bitching about Corona, I mean, that was like the thing.
That was like so last week, though, man.
Yeah, dude, that was so 5 days ago, bro. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, and that's literally how fast this shit changes. Like, so now what? Do we cast aside all of our differences, or we cast aside social distancing so we can go burn down the bowling alley?
Nothing makes sense anymore, man.
I don't fucking know, dude. I don't know.
With that, I think we should call it an episode.
Man. Again, here we go. Dude, we could keep going about this shit forever, but
What was that?
yeah, let's take a little break.
Yeah, just over 105.
God damn, another hour, huh?
Okay.
Science damn, motherfuckers. All right, guys. Well, Twee, Lay,
We're out here, man.
B, everybody, as always, here we are. It's good to talk to you guys.
Good times.
You know, we
Yeah.
did not even fucking get into all this damn good ass food that we made tonight.
Oh shit, we'll have to talk about that.
I mean, the whole thing we could have been talking about.
and the 2 tomato cans who decided not to show
We
up
could have been talking about
could have been talking
duck.
mad
We
shit
could have
about
been
them.
talking about rabbit. We could have been talking about amazing food and those 2 bitch ass tomato cans that didn't show up. But that's all right. Well, hey guys, it's good to see you, man.
All right, Sperm.
All right, fellas, tomato cans. Peace.